Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be going over clipping mask. This is going to be a relatively quick tutorial, but just a recap. If you go to File or New, or you click New right here, you can go ahead and go over into Print Document, select a letter type paper, and we'll be going in with landscape. Now again, a letter type, it is 8.5 by 11. Printing is a 300 resolution document, so print letter 11 by 8.5 because we're working with landscape, and then click create. Now, one of the things that I did mention for this particular tutorial is that we are going to be working with individual layers for each of our letters. So for example, I'm going to be typing out Hector. So instead of just typing out Hector like so, and then highlighting it and making this big, I need this to be separated in individual layers. So by doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this layer, delete layer right here. Yes, delete it. And I'm going to go ahead and type the letter H first. Now, I do need these letters to be thick so that the fill inside of it can be more visible for the images that you're going to be using. And as you guys can see, this one is a bit thin. You won't be able to see an image that well inside. So with the letter T, go ahead and select it, highlight it, and then you can go in here and choose a font that might be a little bit fatter, shows a little bit more. So like this one's pretty good. And then from here, you could actually type the number. So like if you wanted to 100, or you can press on these letter T's and just kind of bring it up a little bit. That seems kind of good right around there. And now in order to make copies of these letters, because you want them all to be the same size, you can actually hold Alt on your keyboard while the layer is selected, and you're going to notice that the mouse now turns into this mouse that's both black and white. And sorry. And with that being said, you can actually click and drag over to the side. That'll be the letter E, the letter C, the letter T, the O, and the R. And then later on, you can actually adjust this. It doesn't really matter at the moment, but if you double click on the letters, just like so, you can actually just go in there and retype. Then make sure you click OK, and then turn that into a C. Type OK, turn that into a T, right? And you're going to be typing out your name or a 6-letter word that works out in your favor, and R, right? So now that I have this is where it gets kind of interesting with layers, because you want to be able to move everything at the same time, and you can't just like highlight over them. Like if you try to move them right now, it'll move whatever layer you have selected. Some of you might actually have up here auto select turn on, which will allow you to move individually the letters. This is not going to work for this particular project, so make sure that auto select is turned off. If you ever want to make a letter a little bit bigger, you can click show transforms, and that'll give you this little anchor points here, so you can resize the letters if you needed to. I'm gonna click no, and I don't need that right now. But what do I do if I want to move my entire name, right? My name is not centered, and I don't like the way it looks. I want to fix that. So I can actually select all of these at the same time by holding Control on my keyboard and then clicking on each and every single one of them. And now I can move all of them at the same time. Just kind of center this out a little bit. Select the letter T, move it a little bit closer. And then select the letter O, move that a little bit closer. And then select the letter R and move that a little bit closer. So I like the way that looks. So now I can actually start putting in my pictures. Now remember, for the pictures, it's relatively easy. I already have all my pictures opened up over here. So all I need to do is right click and put copy image, minimize that. And then I want to put that in my letter H. So from there I can go to edit and paste. And there's my image. Now, for some of you, you all were saying that like you couldn't see the image because you were clicking clipping mask. Yes, the image will completely disappear because it is clipped to the letter H, and the last time that you had it, it was not on top of the letter H. So you have to make sure it goes on top of the letter H. You can see me that it's now covering that letter H, and then I can right click and put create clipping mask, and that'll allow me to move the image inside that letter H. And I'll leave it somewhere like that. It looks pretty cool. I can get pretty good visuals out of it. Then I just repeat the process with my other images. So now I'll select the letter E, come over here and go to this one, copy image. I can actually do Control V for paste. So Control V, right click, create clipping mask, and then move this over just like so. That actually looks pretty cool. I'll leave it like that. Select my letter C, come in here, go to my next image, that one, copy image, go here, C, Control V, right click, create clipping mask, and then bring that in here. Now for this one, not sure how I want to do it. Maybe I can do that, I guess. You can't really see that much. And then go to the letter T, go back over here, have a couple other images, Vegeta, copy that image, come here, and then Control V. Again, it's on top of my letter T, so right click and then create clipping mask and set that up right there. Go back, I have two more. So this Naruto image, copy my letter O, paste, put that there, right click, create clipping mask. This image is a little bit too big, so I can actually go into the show transforms and then click so I can resize it. That looks relatively good. Then press OK. Then my letter R, go over here, I have a Goku image, right click, copy, come back in here and Control V to paste it. Now put it right there, create clipping mask. That looks pretty cool. All right, so now that we have all of this, I'm gonna remove my show transforms. This is the last step that you have to do, which is add a gradient background, and then we're gonna do a drop shadow to all of this, text. So for the gradient background, you have to make sure you scroll down to the bottom and select background right here. And then when you select background, you can actually go over into your gradient tab, which will be this one. You might see the paint bucket or you might see the gradient. Again, if you hold that down, you'll be able to switch between both. Now you want to select the gradient tool. Now with the gradient tool, again, you're using your tools option menu, which is up here, and you have different versions of gradients that you can use. So let me go through them really quick by switching these colors up a little bit just so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So I have a baby blue and a dark blue selected right here, and you can see that that's the option that I get up on top. And so the first one is just a gradient that goes from one color to the other. The other one is a gradient color that does a circle, so it's like light in the center. See that? And the last one is kind of, this other one's kind of like a, I don't know, like it starts here and it kind of works its way around in a circle, I guess you could say. And then this one will just kind of leave a color down the center. So if you wanted to maybe do it like that or something like that, you could kind of work with that option if you wanted to. And then this one creates like kind of like a diamond pattern. So this is up to you on which one and how you use it. I'm gonna go with the gradient tool here, and this actually looks pretty cool if I just do something like that, I think. And the baby blue works. Now for the colors here, you have different options in their basics. You have a bunch of different blue gradients and purple gradients. However, if you just want to change the colors, you can switch them here by going from, like, say, a pink to a kind of like a bright pink or something like that, and then you can choose that and have your colors, right? Whatever you prefer. I'm gonna stick with these blue ones. Now, once this is done, then all we have to do is add a drop shadow. This is where it gets super cool, because you can go into your letters, right click, and go over to blending options. When you're inside blending options, you can have access to all this stuff that's right here, and they all do different things. I would suggest you guys play around with it and have fun and do stuff, but I will cover most of them in later tutorials. For now, we're only working with the drop shadow. So you want to go ahead and click a check mark on the drop shadow and then actually select it so it turns gray, like you see right here. Now at the moment, my shadow is crazy. You can see this all over the place, and you have access to control all this with the opacity right here, making it a little bit transparent or showing it more. I like to keep mine at 100%, but it depends on what we're working with, right? Distance, that allows you to move it around, and then the size, which allows you to like determine how much it's gonna blur out, and then the spread, right? So we'll go ahead and bring the size down, and then the distance somewhere here. Maybe spread this out a little bit, just like so. That looks pretty good for me. That's something that I feel comfortable with and I kind of like. You can actually click that to see the before and after, right? And I like that. That looks pretty cool. So from there, we'll click OK. Now here's where it's pretty cool, because once you do it once, you don't have to repeat the process over and over again. You can actually right click here and put copy layer style. That's going to copy the style that you just created here. So copy layer style. Then you can go in here, and again, remember how I told you at the beginning that you can select multiple layers by holding Control. Select only the letters, right? And then you can right click and put paste style. That'll create the style on all of them. And then now all you have to do is go ahead and go to File, Save. You're going to save it into your Creative Cloud. This is going to be called Clipping Mask. And then click Save. Now, this is how you save into your Creative Cloud, but in order for you to turn it into Me on Schoology, you actually have to save it into your computer. So we're going to go to File, Save a Copy, Save to Computer, and then you're going to save it into your Creative Cloud folder, which I don't have access to. Oh yeah, it's right here. And then just go ahead and put Clipping Mask Copy, and then put JPEG right there, and click Save. Put OK, and that's it. Congratulations, you guys have now completed a Clipping Mask tutorial. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about how the layers work and how you can put all these stuff organized in order and in a unique way so that you can be able to create cool stuff like this, how to select multiple layers, and how to copy effects that you have created. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.